What
Sometimes
is the
even though
cause of after the operation, the patient have the pain, still have pain? What is the
uh,
cause?
I remember you said that even though we do up to the knee arthroplasty,
Yeah.
sometimes patient still suffer pain. But
Pain, pain.
no, I remember you
Yeah,
explaining.
yeah, yeah. I definitely I said you. Oh, but
Yeah.
do you think what is the cause of the pain after the TK that cause the patient dissatisfaction? Maybe
Uh,
sometimes it is difficult question, of course.
yes. Yes.
Maybe one reason is some operation invasion because the TK operation is more invasive than the THA and UK.
Oh
Normally
yes.
after the TK, the patient have experience is very severe swelling and bleeding. And in addition, after once the muscle and soft tissue swollen, and then this is getting down. After that, some soft tissue such as the fascia and the ligament can shrink, contracted. This can cause pain. And maybe another cause is neural pain. This is
Neuropathy pain.
well, yeah, yeah. This is a direct damage around the knee, such as infrapatellar branch or the saphenous nerve, and indirect invasion of the nerve is the saphenous nerve from the Handle canal. Yes. Of course, this is one cause is the dysfunction. Dissatisfaction is pain. Of course, the limited RM, especially in the Asian patient. Uh, because in Asian, the custom, Asian custom needs the deep knee flexion. So some patients have to change their custom in the daily living, daily activity after TK. This is the one cause of dissatisfaction. So I think this satisfaction rate will higher in the Asian country than the Western countries, maybe. So I explained how to get the depression after the TKA in the previous my talk, but I have no good answer how to get the good ROM, especially the fraction after the TK. Only way successful way to get the deflection is do the UKA. It is definitely very effective way to get high fraction. Oh, anyway, today my talk is focused on this one, alignment and stability. So, and this is the main problem, one of the main problems, such as well as ACL dysfunction and pain, and sometimes some noise. But one of the main cause of dissatisfaction is alignment, improper alignment, and in the same time, it is also cause instability or tightness. So there are solutions in the same time that will be the good solution to increase and improve this satisfaction after the TKA. But they are really difficult problems. So maybe many surgeons is imagining that there is a true goal, the good alignment, proper alignment, and in the same time proper uh, stability and ligament balance and kinematics. if can implant the TKA implant properly, the patient can get the good satisfaction and good function and pain-free. But it is not true. Because before to our talk, we need to understand about alignment again. So we should precisely understand about the alignment. So the most important alignment is the mechanical alignment. It is, let's say, that this mechanical alignment means the weight-bearing alignment. So from the femur side, it lines from the femur head to the knee center. But the knee center is difficult to define. What is the knee center? Knee center is maybe I think knee center is different between the femur side and the tibia side. So I define the knee center, define the two knee centers. The one center is the femur center, and another is the tibial center. The femur knee center, femoral knee center is here. This is the bottom of intercondylar notch, and this is the center. It shall be the center. And in contrast, the tibial side, the knee center should be the just between the medial and the lateral tibial spine, just at the insertion of ACL, and the center of the ankle. This should be the mechanical alignment. But sometimes this line, the red line and green line, is not come together at the knee. In the most patients, this red line, that is the femur mechanical axis, come to medially than the green line, tibial mechanical axis. In the later OR, is sometimes red axis, femoral mechanical axis, move more medially. So that we say the lateral thrust. So such one kind of instability. So yes, so anyway, so two axes is very important. So femoral mechanical axis and tibial mechanical axis. And most important angle is angle between femoral mechanical axis and tibial mechanical axis. We call it HKAA, hip knee ankle angle. So ideally, many surgeons believe that is the TKA should be 0 degrees. In other words, the hip center, knee center, ankle center come in the same line. But this is ideal and even fantasy, because many surgeons, many patients, in many patients, these two lines come to the parallel or in the same line, because most patients have the slight varus alignment. In addition, I define the ankle center at here, the center of the ankle joint. But in fact, the patient stand on their heel. So now, instead of HKAA, hip knee ankle angle, hip knee calcaneal angle is focused on to compensate the subtalar malalignment. Is heel calcaneal, varus, and varus should be taken into account. So anyway, so roughly saying, to simplify this talk, I use the format HKAA. So most important is this mechanical axis and the joint line is not perpendicular. So native joint line is slightly varus. In other words, the joint line inclined slant medially. But in the most TKA technique, the distal femur and proximal tibia are cut perpendicular to the mechanical axis. So there is some contradiction of the two plane. This is a cutting plane and joint line is different. This is not so big difference, only the 2 or 3 degrees, but it makes so many contradictions. So the main problem is the difference between the component joint line and native joint line. So to compensate, to resolve this difference, we need to soft tissue. So we need to release the soft tissue such as MCL and scap cell and so on. And this difference of 2 lines can cause stiffness and pain and instability and eventually dissatisfaction of the patient. So in addition, joint line orientation is very important. Orientation means this inclination against the floor or gravity. So in the short film, we see the knee like this. So in the properly taken X-ray, this line, it should be the perpendicular, the vertical. But in fact, so in this X-ray, so joint lines come here like this, so it looks vellus. But in fact, in the long-standing film, in the standing in the both legs or one legs, this femur and leg line will incline slightly laterally. And eventually, this joint line comes horizontal to the floor. So if we see the short film like this, so we can easily understand this is also natural, considering the gravity and weight load, and because this is more tolerable from the weight bearing, body weight in the equal weight load both medial and lateral side. So joint line obliquity is very important. So it can caused by the medial proximal tibial angle inclination of the angle between the upper surface of the proximal tibia and the tibial axis. This MPTA. It comes around 1 to 5 degrees beta. On the contrary, on the femur side, the lateral distal femoral angle LDFA come around 0 to 4 degrees beta. So eventually, 1, 4 to 5 beta is slightly larger compared to the LDFA. MPTA is slightly larger than the LDFA. So that means the total alignment can be beta around 1 or 2 degrees. That should be natural in most people. In addition, to distal end of the femur and the proximal end of the tibia is not parallel. They have some angulation. We call it the joint line convergence angle. So in the normal knee, even in the normal knee, this is a slightly medially slanted, and the disease, according to the disease progression, so this comes larger and larger. So we should also take into account this difference between the MPTA and LDFA. Okay. So, but in fact, there is so many variation among the patients. So femoral valgus angle and tibial varus angle is very different among the patients. And so eventually, total mechanical alignment is a slightly varus alignment, around roughly 0 to 3 degrees. But it is, of course, very, very different among the patients and very different among the populations. For example, Asian patient has a more varus alignment, roughly saying, and the Western people has a virtually straight. But even in the Western countries, the average HKK should be the 1 to 2 degrees varus. It is very natural. Okay, so we call it the constitutional varus. So this means that native varus alignment. Maybe this is considered to be the variation of some kind of abnormality. But many studies show this is a natural. Many patients, many people has minor constitutional varus. But in the previous report, so more than 3 degrees of HKK, we define this alignment as a constitutional varus. So this is mainly caused by the medial tibial slope. So mean MPTA was 4.9 degrees in the constitutional varus group. But without the constitutional varus, the mean MPTA was 2.4 degrees. So maybe this is caused by some developmental imbalance to the medial and the lateral condyle, maybe. So, but even in the constitutional varus, this joint line orientation keeps horizontal. It's very interesting fact. So joint line remains parallel to the floor, even in the knees that have constitutional varus, but no joint degeneration. But after the joint degeneration, this joint line orientation can slightly varus because of the more slanted tibial axis laterally. So anyway, we should remember that if the HKK is more than 3 degrees, we call it the constitutional varus. Of course, this is the normal situation in the younger age. After the ONE, HKK count more than over the 3 degrees. It is normal. So, what is the constitutional varus? Constitutional varus is in the knee. In the varus alignment is natural for the patient. The natural means the well-balanced soft tissue around the knee, and just like this. So, if we adjust this alignment to the neutral alignment, that means neutral alignment means the hip center and knee center and the ankle center come in the same line. In other words, HKK angle is 0. But this is unnatural for these patients. So because To achieve this neutral alignment, we need to detach MCL and other soft tissue that can cause the imbalance or even a looseness of the medial side. That is not beneficial for the patient. So how do we deal this consumer virus is very serious problem to improve the patient satisfaction after TKA. So this is a very classical cutting policy of the knee arthroplasty. This is a gap. This is a gap. To make the gap, we need to cut the perpendicular to the both female and the tibial mechanical axis. This gap should be parallel. The parallel means this female cutting surface and the tibia cutting surface should be parallel, both extension and flexion. And this distance should be equal in flexion and extension. This is considered to be the ideal, but currently it is not considered to be the ideal because this is unnatural in many patients. So especially in the constitutional varus patient, if we cut the femur and the tibia perpendicular to the axis, the gap should be trapezoid, not parallel. Medial side is tight and lateral side should be the wide to unbalance. So the current concept, many surgeons accept this imbalance. That means the medial side and the lateral side. Medial side is tighter and the lateral side is looser. To accept this, some surgeons emphasize that the medial side stability is very important, and lateral side looseness can be accepted because knee should rotate around the medial side of the knee. We call it a medial pivot motion. To achieve this, medial side should be tight and lateral side should be loose. So both in the extension and flexion, so to make the trapezoid, the medial tight gap is natural, and we should implant the component making this the unbalanced gap. So this is the technique. And after the measure the gap, measure the cut, that means the perpendicular to the femur and the tibial axis, and the measure this gap and center gap, and the inclination in the both cutting plane. And this indicator, this tensor indicates the distance of center gap and inclination. That means this count to the 3. So that means medial side is 3 degrees tighter than the lateral side. So cutting surface come to 3 degrees to each other. Then measure the flexion gap and measure again and calculate the balance of the flexion gap. And then depend on this angle and white side line and this transepicondylar line. Then decide the cutting surface of the posterior condyle. So to avoid the cutting error. Anyway, this is a new concept to accept the imbalance and emphasize in the medial gap to reconstruct only the medial side gap. But this is very new concept. But many surgeons accept to the conventional bone cut to cut the perpendicular both tibia and femur. But after the cut, this gap must be tight in the medial side and loose in the lateral side. To make the parallel gap, medial release, MCL release is necessary to release. Accept this imbalance or adjust the gap by the MCL release. This is a different concept. So, but normally, many surgeons choose this one to release and make the parallel gap. But important is in this situation, in the end stage OA, medial side is shrinked, contracted, and the lateral side should be loose due to abnormal elongation due to the severe varus deformity. But to make the parallel and equal gap, to joint can be enlarged because of looseness of the lateral side, especially in the PCL sacrifice needs. After the PCL cut, the gap can enlarge and until the lateral collateral ligament and the lateral structure is tightened in the restored normal length. But at that time, this lateral structure is already elongated. So after the adjustment to the parallel gap, eventually this gap can enlarge compared to the original joint gap. This is a problem. This is the extreme case. We talk about the constitutional varus. It is some kind of very mild varus. But some patient has severe varus extra-articular deformity like this, such as post-fracture deformity, both tibia and the femur. So it is unnatural to adjust the extra-articular deformity by the intra-articular bone cut. So to make the natural alignment, neutral alignment, we need cut lateral side more. That can cause some instability and natural kinematics. So soft tissue balance should be achieved by to reconstruct the short alignment in the short part. Okay, this is the end of my talk. Tomorrow I will continue my talk to continue to another alignment, for example, anatomical alignment and kinematical alignment. Okay, do you understand what I mean, what I said? It is very difficult.
Yes, very clear. Very clear. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Okay. Anyway, I will upload this talk, this presentation in the YouTube, and please see the later. And if you have any question, please send me or ask me tomorrow. Okay. Thanks. It is
Thank
very
you.
difficult, but very interesting. Okay,
Yes,
see you tomorrow. Professor Tanwi.
See you.
See you. Professor Tan. Oh, nice to see you. Nice to see you. Hi. How are you? Okay. See you tomorrow. See you tomorrow. Bye.